Ladies and gentlemen, I had a ton of people sending me this story, so I thank you guys for using my email address to send this to me. And I honestly thought it was a joke when I saw this picture, and I said, there's no way this is real. This has to be something out of like a satire article or something. No, this story is actually real. Florida, if y'all are in the building, y'all take the L yet again. Like, I don't know what's going on in Florida, what they are putting in the water, or maybe like, I don't know. Maybe it's something in that water in that part of the United States. I don't know. But I got to tell y'all, first and foremost, let's address, matter of fact, before I even do that, some of y'all already know me well enough to know where we're about to go. Let me give the disclaimer. Look, guys, look, I get flagged so much on my channel, I have to give a freaking disclaimer. Can y'all believe that? Just to keep the monetization on the channel, let me give you guys a disclaimer first. And I'm so serious. Let me give y'all, and I actually wrote this up. I have to give y'all a damn disclaimer. Warning. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these two children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. I am so damn serious about that. I get so sick of looking up and all my videos got all these yellow signs on them. I'm like, come on, man. I'm just speaking the real. Y'all see these pictures? Look at this. Look. I'm not even going to get flagged. I'm going to go straight to hell for this. Let me show y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. You know how Meek Mill says there's levels to this, right? I think even when it comes to beauty, when they say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, well, I think it goes the same way on the other side of the spectrum, that there's levels to being ugly, right? If you have beauty, you can have ugly. If you have night, you can have day. If you have good, you have bad. When you have attractive, you have this. This is the opposite side of the spectrum. And I'm just looking at her face and I'm like, Then you take a look at her lips and I'm like, that's interesting, right? Then you take a look down just below her chin and you're just like, wow, that's interesting. Because I'm wondering, like, what is that crap on your neck? Is that like a tattoo that's gone wrong? Did you sit out in the sun for too long? Is it kind of like that RoboCop 2 movie where you remember where the toxic stuff fell on that man and his skin started to melt off? Did maybe you fall into some of that crud, right? Some of that toxic stuff. You just put it all on your neck. Let's talk about these big red looking, don't even look like this is like, that doesn't even look real. You know how they used to dress up like in blackface? This woman, I swear, she literally looks like she's dressing in blackface. I don't know if y'all can I'm about, man. We are not even going to ever get to this story at all. I'm so sorry to her family. I feel sorry for your mother. Right? I feel so sorry for her mother. Because I have to do this. If y'all will look at this picture right here and y'all can see that big space that's missing in the top of her head, where one part of the wig doesn't really all the way connect to the other side of the wig, like it's trying to connect, but she didn't really have the hair follicles to connect the other side, to connect the wig together. Therefore, there's like a good big nice half-inch gap in the middle of her head right there that just don't really follow all the way through, right? Bad skin, bad teeth, bad eyes, bad neck, bad mother. How about that? Let me go ahead and get off of her looks, because I think that speaks on its own. This story comes out of Winter Haven, Florida, and let me tell y'all, for those who feel like, Jay, you're being too harsh, trust me, I'm not. I'm not being harsh enough. I should be a lot meaner than what I am. Everybody agree? Hello. I should be a lot meaner to these people who hurt little babies, especially these two. They literally look like sand creatures. Oh my goodness. Two Davenport parents and the uncle of a 2-year-old baby girl were arrested Wednesday after this little girl, 2 years old, was starved to death. Starved to death. Slowly starved to death. And y'all know, whenever y'all see Sheriff, what is his name? Sheriff Grady Judd, y'all know it's going to be really bad, because y'all know he goes in. Regis Johnson, let me see, that's not Regis. Let me get his face, let me move. Regis Johnson is the decrepit looking crypt keeper on the left-hand side, who's 57 years old, looks like he should be about 75. I think they got his age wrong. He definitely don't look like he's in his 50s. And then, of course, that creature with those high contrasting lips over there on the right-hand side literally looks like somebody peeled a clown mask off of her face, is Aranda Tillman. She is 35 years old. How does your neck get that ashy? You got an ashy neck. I've heard of ashy hands, ashy elbows. I have never heard of an ashy neck. That is disgusting. Jeez. That is a hard ass 35 years old. Y'all look at that picture and tell me, do y'all think she's 35 years old? This woman literally looks like she's about 57, and the dude looks like he's about 75. Both of them were booked on Wednesday at the Polk County Jail, and each of them face, no pun intended, face one count of negligent child abuse causing great harm. On the other person, Frank Robinson, who's 64 years old, which is the other individual, I guess, who was in the house, the dude over there on the right-hand side, was also arrested and charged with negligent child abuse causing great harm. Want to know why he got arrested? Because he saw something and he didn't say anything. See something, say something. Y'all remember our hashtag, right? This is what should happen when you stand by and watch shit happen to children and you don't do anything to stop it. You don't do anything to prevent it. You don't do anything to report it to the proper authorities. You don't do anything to help a baby, a defenseless little girl. And let me show you guys the most precious picture I have ever seen. Even with the scratch on this baby's face. I don't even know her name, but I want y'all to look at this. Apparently, the clown face mother with the face that don't even look real apparently created this baby. Even ugly people can make some very beautiful creations. And I'm going to tell y'all, this angel is so beautiful. Look at her. Boy, would I not do anything to help this baby, to advocate for this baby, to even do something as simple as something that we should know universally, that all children depend on their parents for everything that they need. Something as simple as sustenance, eating. A child must eat. A child must drink. We must take care of a child. Why have children if you don't want to take care of them? My body, my choice. But I want to take on these great privileges. I want these great accolades that come with, oh, you're a great mother and happy Mother's Day and blah, blah, blah. I want everybody to pat me on my ass for really just performing the action that all animals on earth perform, which is procreation, and we want to pat on the back for that. I think that when we get to a point like that, especially in the melanated community, I think we're in a very sad place. Black people, do y'all hear me? We want praise and accolades for doing the most basic stuff. We set the bar so freaking low that a bow-legged caterpillar could freaking do the limbo underneath the damn bar. This little girl needed an advocate. She needed a mother. She needed a parent. She needed somebody to care. And even then, she had a third individual in this house that could have literally stepped up and said something. And you know what he just said? It's not my responsibility. It's not my business. That famous colloquialism that too many of our people like to say. It's not my business. This baby and all babies should be our business. Can we get somebody to type that in the chat, please? All babies are our business. All babies are our business. Let's go ahead and keep going before I get really, really pissed off. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, shout out to him. And I'm getting this article from clickorlando.com. So thank you for the article. He said in a news conference that the toddler suffered long-term starvation and was found dead in an inflatable pool turned into a makeshift playpen in Johnson's home after the suspect placed an unresponsive child called on Tuesday. Judd said that this little girl was skin and bones. She was literally skin and bones. And he said it was heartbreaking to see it. According to deputies, Johnson told them that the doctors believed that the toddler may have shared muscular dystrophy gene with her mother, but after getting her tested, found the diagnosis to be inconclusive. Let me say that again, and guess that's her Facebook page that's still open. I'm not saying y'all should go over there and go post nasty things, but I am thankful that I found her Facebook page, which was the only way I was able to at least find a picture of this baby. Because I feel like I wanted to pay homage and tribute to this beautiful princess. She wanted to point out that this child may have had a gene disorder, but they proved that it was that it was inconclusive. So why would you bring that up to say that that could have potentially been a reason why this child starved and died? You just can't be that level of dumb, can you? Inconclusive, so that means it's a non-factor. The suspect also said the toddler's most recent doctor's appointment was August of 2021, but the toddler's pediatrician said that her last visit was in January of 2020 during her 6-month checkup, despite multiple attempts made by the medical office after that to contact the parents, according to investigators. So the doctors reached out and they just ignored their calls. Now, deputies said that the toddler's doctor was also concerned that she might have cystic fibrosis. You look at this child and you gasp. You gasp at the horror that you saw and the pain that this child went through, according to Grady Judd. Well, I can tell you, as a Christian, the only solace I get out of this whole thing is that the child is no longer starving or sick and that she is in the arms of Jesus. Judd said the girl who was born on July 25th of 2019, and that picture was the only picture I could find of that baby is that one right there. She should have weighed 32 pounds, keep in mind, at age 2 years old. But when this child was found to be dead, she was only 9.5 pounds. 9.5 pounds. That's almost the weight that a newborn baby is. The parents both say that they attempted to feed the toddler in 2 days leading up to her death, but she did not want to eat and would only take a few bites. This baby should have been talking, putting sentences together, asking questions, telling them my diaper needs to be changed, running, jumping, and playing, according to Judd. When this baby died, she couldn't even stand. She could not talk, and she could not walk. According to Judd, Polk County detectives found that the Department of Children and Family Services had opened a medical neglect investigation of the girl's situation in December of 2019, but they closed it after several positive weight checks. This is why I think that they deserve life in prison, because clearly if they're being investigated, they know how to do the right things. As soon as they stop being investigated, they go right back to neglecting this baby. That proves that they made a conscious choice to murder this child. If you ask me, this is murder. They might not classify it as murder, but this should be the new definition of murder. Neglecting a child to death and starvation should be a murder charge against parents who do this type of thing. Now, the sheriff's office said that Robinson, who is Johnson's brother, also lived at the house and he was aware of the abuse and never said anything. Additional charges are pending against Johnson and Tillman, including murder charges, which judge called appropriate. Judge said that more medical work has to be done, however, as well as a thorough investigation by the sheriff's office and a re-examination of the case by DCF before those additional charges can be pursued. So, we're charging them with aggravated child abuse today and asking for a high bond amount until we can finish our investigation. The official cause of death will not be ruled upon by the medical examiner until the completion of all of the investigation, but it's evident to us that this is long-term starvation. One of the things that bothers me the most out of anything, when people have problems, and we all have situations and things that we deal with, it hurts my heart to hear when people cannot eat. It is the simplest thing that we all need. I have literally done for so many people over the years, even when I didn't have it, just try to make sure that people have the ability to eat. I do as best as I can to try to help in moments when I feel like people do need the help. Not every time, because you can't, help every single person every single time. But, you do what you can when you can. But this is just flat out unacceptable. Like I said, I think life in prison would suit all three of them. They stood by and watched this happen as well. Life in prison for all three. Let me go ahead and give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And you know what? I forgot to mention that, and thank you. Somebody in the chat actually said that woman, that alleged mother, see if I can get her face back up here. They said that she might potentially be 4 months pregnant right now. I hope that is false information. God, that is so sad. Just keep making babies for what? To starve them and kill them and watch them die? Hashtag babies for benefits. That's actually where our hashtag comes from. Because what you have happen is you have too many people who only have children to collect benefits off of the backs of those children. And the AFC hashtag is hashtag babies for benefits. All right, here we go. Let's get it.
A chilling case of child abuse. 3 people are now facing child abuse charges after the Polk County Sheriff's Office says a child was found dead, and it's believed the young girl was starved to death.
Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd says a toddler's father called police on Tuesday saying she was unresponsive and cold to the touch.
ABC Action News reporter Rochelle Elaine has more details on this heartbreaking case.
And information on a local resource designed to help prevent this from happening, Rochelle.
That's right. The sheriff described that child as skin and bones. He says that for her age, she was nearly 3 years old. She should have been 30 pounds, but she was just 9 pounds when she was found. The child's mother, Aranda Tillman, father, Regis Johnson, and uncle, Frank Robinson, are now facing charges in connection to that girl's death. There are also a lot of unanswered questions in this case, with the main one being, how did this happen? What the sheriff's office can confirm is that the child was at the center of a DCF investigation in 2019, just months after she was born, because she wasn't gaining any weight. DCF eventually closed that case after the child gained a few pounds.
And this child couldn't talk, couldn't walk, couldn't communicate. There aren't adequate words to express my frustration.
The sheriff's office also.
Why aren't people like people like this shouldn't be allowed to have children? That's why we have a hashtag TTO and TTT. There is no way these people should even have reproductive rights or reproductive organs to be able to create children. There's just some people on planet Earth that do not deserve to make children. If she is 4 months pregnant, man, that I just don't even know what to say about that. I would hope that they would somehow find a way for her to have a successful birth and immediately take that child away from her. And shit, give it to some family who will raise that baby right, man. That's just so sad to be born into a world of darkness like that, to just people that don't give a crap.
Regis Johnson and Aranda Tillman.
Regis Johnson and our.
And by the way, if you guys are watching, if y'all would do me a favor, we need to have at least one thumb up for everybody that's watching this story. So if you would help us share this story and share the memory of this baby. And if you know this baby's name, I wasn't able to find it, but post it in the chat, post it in the comment section. But if y'all would hit that thumbs up and share this story, please, especially of the memory of this baby, okay?
Aranda Tillman just went before a judge in Bartow who set their bond at $500,000 each. They're accused of starving their 2-year-old daughter to death.
If you can imagine looking at such a heartbreaking sight, basically it was just bones and skin.
A relative, Frank Robertson, who lives with him in Davenport, has also been arrested. He's accused of watching the child go downhill month after month and not reporting it. The 2-year-old was born at 6 pounds 10 ounces. 2 years and 10 months later, she had gained only 3 pounds. On Wednesday, Johnson called 911 and said the baby was not breathing. When deputies arrived, they found her dead in a blow-up pool being used as a playpen.
When this baby died on May the 10th, she couldn't stand, she couldn't talk, she couldn't walk. This baby never got to be this big because of these people.
The Department of Children and Families investigated the couple back in 2019 because the baby wasn't gaining weight. The case.
Do y'all want to see Sheriff Grady Judd's full interview? It's like 15 minutes. I can maybe play about 10 minutes of it. If y'all want me to play that, let me know. We'll take a vote in the chat while we're live right now. But let me know if y'all want to see that. I'll go ahead and try to skip this next video if y'all want to see it.
Was closed after caseworkers decided that Tillman and Johnson were complying with an improvement plan. Tillman just told investigators that she's pregnant again. The sheriff says there's no indication that she's gotten any prenatal care, but now she will.
And when that child's born, then that child will be placed with some loving people that will raise and take care of that child.
Like I said, I'm glad he said it.
Because our goal is she's never out of prison again.
Well said. Perfectly said. I'm going to play one more real quick and then I'll go ahead and play it. So y'all are voting yes. So we'll go ahead and play it.
Davenport couple is behind bars after the Polk County Sheriff says they starved their toddler to death. We do want to warn you, the details may be hard to hear.
As West 2's Megan Mulatto reports, the nearly 3-year-old girl was found weighing less than 10 pounds.
Polk County Sheriff's deputies say they were responding to a call of an unresponsive child in a Davenport home when they found a 2-year and 10-month-old toddler on her back in a playpen in the living room. They say she only weighed 9.5 pounds at the time and should have weighed more than 30 at her age. She was pronounced dead on scene.
Between January the 2nd, 2020, when the baby went to the doctor for the last time, and May the 10th, 2022, which was 2 years and 4 months, that sweet baby gained 1 ounce.
According to the sheriff and the arrest report, the toddler's parents, Aranda Tillman and Regis Johnson, told deputies they recently fed the child. But according to the report, when a medical examiner conducted an autopsy on the victim, she found her stomach was empty, and based on her weight, she was determined to have suffered from long-term starvation.
This baby laid in a playpen made out of an inflatable swimming pool and starved absolutely to death.
In their first appearances,
I've given this matter careful consideration. The facts are horrifying, quite frankly.
Tillman and Johnson were given $500,000 bonds. They're facing charges of negligent child abuse causing great bodily harm. Megan Mulatto, West 2 News.
Sheriff Judd says more charges could be added.
I'm going to go ahead and play his interview, so if you guys are ready, I'll speed through just a little bit of it. Here we go.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with me today. We have to talk about something that's just horribly sad. And I want you to think about this. I want you to understand that each of these blocks represents 1 pound. We started an investigation where a child was starved to death, died of long-term starvation. And what shocks our conscience is nothing in this world is more important to us than our children, in their growth, in their ability to thrive. They're the most important, precious thing in our life. They're innocent. And they depend solely upon us for everything. So this little girl, this baby girl, was born at 6 pounds and 10 ounces. 6 pounds and 10 ounces. This baby, when it died, weighed 9 pounds. This baby should have weighed 32 pounds. This baby was born on July the 25th, 2019. Between July the 25th, 2019, and when they took the baby to the doctor, in January of 2020, the child had gained 3 pounds, was thriving. Listen closely to what I'm going to tell you. Between January the 2nd, 2020, when the baby went to the doctor for the last time, and May the 10th, 2022, which was 2 years and 4 months, that sweet baby gained 1 ounce. 1 ounce. So the baby should have been 32 pounds. The baby should have been talking, putting sentences together, asking questions, telling that my diaper needs to be changed, running, jumping, and playing. When this baby died, on May the 10th. She couldn't stand. She couldn't talk. She couldn't walk. This baby never got to be this big because of these people. This is mom at 35. This is dad at 57. Allegedly, he was her counselor at church along the way. Oh, he weighed 213 pounds.
So this dirty son of a gun met her in the church and was taking advantage of her in the church. Like, good Lord, man. He gonna go straight to hell for this. I didn't even know that part. So he was her counselor in church. Boy, the hypocrisy runs really, really deep.
Rhonda Tillman, mom, weighed 144 pounds. Did I mention to you that she's pregnant? According to what she says, about 4 months pregnant. There was food in the house. Regis Johnson, the dad, told us, oh, the baby ate a sandwich yesterday and some chicken nuggets last evening and drank. Well, that's just a bald-faced lie. When we did the medical examination, that child had 0 food in her stomach and only slight traces of fecal matter in the intestines. The child suffered long-term starvation. Now, I want to call your attention, for those of you who remember the Sally Struthers commercials where she was raising money for the children that were malnourished and starving. And you'd see those horrible pictures of those children. Keep in mind, they were still alive. This baby laid in a playpen made out of an inflatable swimming pool and starved absolutely to death. Regis works for his brother at a business called First Class Card Getters on Highway 1792 between Haines City and Laufman. And that's allegedly where they lived. We know that the doctor did the things that he should have. We know that there's investigations underway. We're doing a lot more investigation. There's a lot of questions we can't answer because we're early into the investigation. There's some questions we can't answer because they're protected by DCF regulations. These folks are both charged with aggravated child neglect at this moment in time. Obviously, it is our intention to charge them with the appropriate murder charges, but we've got to do medical investigations. The medical examiner's got to complete some work before we file those charges. But we got them into jail just as soon as we could. The baby didn't thrive because they wouldn't take her to the doctor. They wouldn't feed her. On this fateful morning, the father of the year called 911 and said that his child wasn't breathing. We talked to mom. She said she'd called 911 before. but they were busy. What? They made admissions. They defended their action. But I want you to understand that this baby, this little girl, this child that should have been thriving, gained 1 ounce in 2 years and 4 months. If you can imagine looking at such a heartbreaking sight, basically it was just bones and skin. There aren't adequate words to explain our frustration and our sadness, but our folks are going to do a complete and thorough investigation, and we're going to lodge all of the charges.
Throw the book at their ass. I agree. He might not want to say it that way. That's exactly what he's saying. Get them for every charge that they can get all three of them for. I think they all need to be charged the exact same. Even though the parents were the ones that were primarily responsible, but the third man who sat there and knew that it was going on and watched it and also lived off the back of that baby, because I'm pretty sure the only reason that they had that place to live is because they were getting some type of assistance from by way of that child. Food stamp Section 8, I don't know that to be a fact, but I'm just assuming. Because that's just what a lot of terrible human beings do. They live off the backs of children. If you guys would, do me a favor, if y'all would, click that thumbs up. We're doing really good right now. We want to have 1 thumb up for everybody watching. So keep an eye on that number if you haven't clicked that thumbs up. Just close the chat for a moment. Click that thumbs up. It'll help us quite a bit, okay? Let's finish listening to what he got to say. It's about 4 more minutes.
That the law allows against this mother and father, against these murderers who starved this child to death. We're going to lodge all the charges that we can, and the investigation's still underway because we have probably the same questions you do. Did no one else see this child in this condition? That's under investigation at this moment in time. This child just didn't get sick and pass. People had to watch this child who should have been up running and playing and talking to mama and dada. And I've got a 2-year-old grandchild and a 3-year-old grandchild that are thriving and happy and climbing all over us when they're with us. And this child couldn't talk, couldn't walk, couldn't communicate. There aren't adequate words to express my frustration. Are there any questions?
What's your message to the community?
The message to the community is if you don't want your child, take it to a hospital, to a fire station, to anyone and say, turn my child in, I'm done with it. Don't starve the child. Don't starve the baby. It is unbelievable what we saw.
Are there other children in the home?
There were no other children in the home. But you can be sure of one thing. Presuming she is pregnant, like she says, 4 months pregnant, she won't have the chance to starve another one. Because our goal is that she's locked up. And when it's time to have this baby, she will have had prenatal care while she's in our custody. We have no evidence that the child to be born has had any medical care. But she'll start getting it today. And when that child's born, then that child will be placed with some loving people that will raise and take care of that child, because our goal is she's never out of prison again. She won't get another chance to starve a child to death.
That's not even the end of the interview, but I think we can literally end it right there. Sheriff Grady Judd, man, if I ever get a chance to meet him, I think we'd be on the same page, same wavelength. Just an awesome guy, and I thank him for what he does, for just standing on principle, standing on what's right, and just being an overall good person and putting criminals who absolutely deserve it in their rightful place. And I was just sitting there thinking about that. I was thinking about this thing. I was thinking about legacy. I was thinking about legacy when you're talking about this human being, not this person, that's not a human. This individual that you see on my screen right here, clown face. And you think about the word legacy. What does that even mean? Generally, men will have children to promote a legacy, to leave something behind in the world so that these children can grow up and become something great. Not only did all three of these stupid individuals need to be launched on an experimental rocket shuttle, and hopefully we can get that passed into law, launch them into space and see if the earth is flat or not. Do some experiments on them, right? You know, maybe let the aliens come down and probe on them a little bit, you know? Do some painful probing. I think about the word legacy, and it's so sad because a 2-year-old child for at least 24 months watched at least these three individuals walk by her, and ignore her for at least 24 agonizing months on this earth, until her body just gave out, until Jesus just said, there's no more, there's nothing left here. Gave them every opportunity. They even passed the Child and Family Services inspection. They could have gotten this right. They could have fixed this. They could have just done the right thing. They could have just given up custody. They could have just not had kids. They could have just used prophylactics. They could have just gave this child up to a safe haven. There's a lot of things that they could have did. Abstinence, maybe. Maybe you shouldn't have been in the church fucking on women looking like this, right? Because you want to get your dick wet, sir. Right? There's a lot of things you could have did. And the thing that they didn't do is the thing that we all need. We all need to have somebody there that loves us and cares about us, that does it because it's what's right in their heart. If you don't want to do that, then don't have the kids. That is a choice. We shouldn't force these kids into this world and then force them into a life of suffering. That's not what this life is about. This life is about cherishing your children, loving your children, and encouraging them and nurturing them to grow up and become something great. And people always ask, like, how's my relationship with my daughter? Like, how is that as good as it is? And that's just because, you know, I appreciate my daughter. I honor my daughter, right? I honor her. I serve her. I'm here for her, not the other way around. I just believe as a father and a parent, that's what I should do. And shout out to my daughter, if she's out there listening. I love her, and every time I think about her, she just puts the brightest joy in my heart. To just know that this 2-year-old baby, that I'm not sure, and I know some of you might have posted the name in the chat. I don't know if that's the official name of this baby because they haven't officially released the name. I wasn't able to find the name on social media. Aranda Tillman is the mother's name. Now, if she named her child the exact same thing, then fine. But I don't know that to be a fact. That child suffered long-term suffering. And then to know that she got pregnant again, and I know that they're going to take as good of care as they can of this woman until she produces that kid and then separates her from that child, then think about that. What is that child's legacy going to be? Where's that child's family? Mother, father, uncle, cousins? relatives, legacy. That is going to be a very hard way going forward. But I would think that between that child being in the system or being in a foster home will stand a much better chance of survival than in these three stooges' care. But to this beautiful angel, I don't even know her name for sure, but I really wish that she could have grown up and become something great in the hands of somebody else. Young angel, young princess, we wish you an RIP. Beautiful baby girl, and just was robbed of an opportunity. But I thank you guys so much for listening to this story. Nothing less than life in prison for all three of them. And some of y'all might look at it and say, well, it's the mother and father's responsibility. It is all of our responsibility to raise these children. If you see children being abused and don't say anything, I think you deserve just as much time in prison as the abuser. I think that should go into law, and I hope that applies here. We can make that a case study in court. Make that the standard going forward. Take raising our babies seriously, okay? Thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind as well as an open heart to this story, okay? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I always encourage people to be very careful about who you date. These choices of who you date can drastically cost you everything. So, I have a hashtag which is called hashtag Date Thugs Date Death, which is actually the t-shirt that I have on today. And I don't even think I actually intended to wear this shirt to represent this particular story, but it kind of worked out that way. But I am going to have some opinions about this story that's not going to sit well with your sensibilities. So let me give my disclaimer, and I think I'm going to start doing this from here on out. I'm going to just keep my disclaimer up here so everybody understands what you're walking into before you get here, okay? So pause the video right there. You'll have time to read that. Let's go ahead and get started. So North Carolina, Davie County takes the L in this particular story. The parents found dead with their children in an apparent murder-suicide on Monday made a series of cryptic communications with local deputies mere hours before this tragedy. So the actual time frame is 2 hours. There he is. Got you. 2 hours before this tragedy. Okay? And I'm getting this story from lawandcrime.com. So thank you, Law and Crime, for the article. I get a lot of articles from them because they're really full and accurate. You guys have people working here today. According to Ashad Ewing-Meeks, let me see if I can get his face up on the screen. This individual, that's Ashad Ewing-Meeks. His name is spelled A-S-C-H-O-D. I'm assuming that's Ashad. If it's not correct, then it is what it is. He's 26 years old. Matter of fact, I hope y'all don't mind me doing this. Y'all know I have a tendency to do this. I call people out on their tattoos. I'm going to blow this up. I didn't think I was going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So if the family don't like what I'm about to do, then it is what it is. I'm going to call it out. I just think that first and foremost, when you date people, when you're in a relationship with people, before you get married, before you have kids, it is so important for you to do a background check, number one, and just really take time to observe a person, be aware of the yellow flags and red flags, dangerous signs that this person might be unstable. If this person is suffering from mental issues, if they have a history of that, that's something you might want to find out about. Or if you're dating a person with a criminal background. That could go for men or women, but mainly I talk to the women because that's a large majority of my audience, right? Tattoos on the neck, I think, are indicative of a person that might not be such a law-abiding citizen, in my personal opinion. He could be a freaking saint for all I know. I don't know prior to this incident. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a birthmark. So I'll say that. In the middle of his head. It looks like it's a tattoo, but what do I know? I don't know. I didn't get any clear pictures of this guy. But it looks like that's actually a tattoo in the middle of his head. If that's a birthmark, then cool. If it's not, if that's a tattoo in the middle of the head, I always think the people that put tattoos on their face might be a couple of screws loose. Might be a couple of tacos short of a combination plate, right? Ashad Ewing-Meeks said, "Do y'all have people working here today?" They went to the police station, as you guys can see from those screenshots. He is 26 years old and he's the suspected killer, and said in surveillance footage from Davie County Sheriff's Office lobby in North Carolina, according to the authorities, WGHP, not my personal words. That's not my opinion. About 2 hours later, at about 2:17 p.m., the firefighter said that they found the family shot to death at their home after a passerby reported seeing smoke coming from the residence. Deputies said the first responders found Ashad Ewing-Meeks dead with a gun in hand. Authorities said that they believe he fatally shot Ashton, the young lady, Bricks, one of the little kids, and Bella. Ashton, Bricks, and Bella. No, beautiful kids, man. Beautiful family. And then he set the house on fire before killing himself. It's definitely been an impact on the community, on the neighborhood, according to Davie County Sheriff J.D. Hartman said in a press conference on Wednesday, according to WCBD. It's not an area where we have a lot of calls or issues. The neighbors said that they were good to the neighbors said that they were good neighbors. Hartman reportedly said that the family was vague about why they wanted to speak to the deputy during that Monday visit. Ewing-Meeks, during the visit, reportedly did ask about getting a concealed carry permit. Brown called authorities minutes later on Monday at 12:35 p.m. asking to speak to a deputy in what WFMY described as a non-emergency call. A deputy called her back at 12:46 p.m., 11 minutes later. According to officials, Brown said that she called for her boyfriend. She gave the phone to him, but the call only lasted 30 seconds. It was unclear if it was from a hang-up or a dropped phone call. The deputy called back, and this call lasted 55 seconds. The deputy made a third and a fourth call lasting 2 minutes and more than 6 minutes respectively. Meeks allegedly said that he thought someone was following him. He was the only person to speak to the deputy after the initial call, so I'm sure more of those details will come out here soon. The deputy called at 1:06 p.m. and 1:07 p.m., but both calls went to voicemail. Authorities could not contact the couple after that. At about 2 p.m., a witness claimed to see Ewing-Meeks and Brown argue in front of the couple's home, but they went inside, authorities said. Minutes later, another witness claimed to see smoke coming from the home. First responders say that they found the mother and her infant son in the kitchen with the daughter in the bedroom doorway. Ewing-Meeks, a gun in hand, was at the end of the hallway leading to the kitchen, authorities said. Locals teamed up to help the Browns family with fundraising efforts, including t-shirt sales and a barbecue. And I can totally respect their efforts in doing it that way. It's a hard way to do it, but I definitely respect them trying to step up and help financially in that way. Y'all know a lot of times I'm not really all for the GoFundMes when it comes to death, because I think the GoFundMes really should be for lively things, and I think that life insurance should be for death. But like I said, I'm definitely not going to fault people if they put up the GoFundMes, if that's what they got to do. So I'm going to probably start backing off of my stance on that, because over the years I just really don't think that people understand where I'm coming from when it comes to the importance of having life insurance. Okay? Now, sorry. Keep bringing up articles I didn't mean to bring up. As a community, we all put ourselves in that situation, said Nicole Lewis, who said that she did not know Brown but organized the fundraiser at the Coolamy Fire Department on Saturday, according to WGHP. What if that was us? What if that was our family or our loved ones? My opinion about this. I have to draw conclusions because we don't know, but I have opinions because I want to help prevent these things going forward. If you ask me, they looked like a happy family They dressed it up real nice. He dressed really nice. He didn't dress like a thug. He didn't dress like a jerk. They looked like a beautiful, happy family. So what went wrong? Was this drugs? Was this about her trying to split from him? Was this about control? I don't know. I really don't know. It's really hard to say. I really don't want to sit here and call him a thug or anything like that just because of the tattoos. I don't know anything about him. And to be honest with you guys, it's really, really hard to make a judgment call based on what I think happened here. So I'm going to hold off on that. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. So all I'm saying is we just have to be as careful as we can. And not every situation is perfect, but we just got to do better when it comes to vetting the people that we date and have children by, okay? It's all you can do, all right? It's just very tragic. If y'all would, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. Share this story because I want to hear more people's opinions and maybe some more facts will come out. Or if the family wants to reach out and let us know what really happened, or if you know what happened, you can always post that in the comment section, okay? Here we go. Let's get it.
From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
It is hard to imagine a story about a family of 4 being found dead inside a burning home, getting worse 2 days later. But that is what is happening tonight in Davie County.
This is very sad. Sheriff J.D. Hartman says preliminary autopsy results show that a Coolamy man shot his young children and their mother before setting their home on fire and taking his own life. The sheriff also identified the 4 people killed in what he called a murder-suicide. The adults are Ashton Brown and Ewing-Meeks. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, both 26 years old. Their 2 children are also dead, 4-year-old Bella Meeks-Ewing and 8-month-old Brix Meeks-Ewing.
I've seen a lot in 30 years, but children, and especially children that are killed by gunshots and burned, is pretty heinous.
Now, the entire family visited the sheriff's office just hours before the incident. Hartman showed video of them in his lobby early Monday afternoon. We have opted not to show that footage. The sheriff says the family was vague about what they wanted and left after just 4 minutes. 20 minutes later, they called 911 asking to speak with an officer for safety reasons. An officer called Ms. Brown, who let the officer speak with her boyfriend. Each time, though, the calls ended or the signal dropped and the officer called back. Eventually, though, the calls started going to voicemail.
He wouldn't really advise what he wanted. He advised the officer that he thought somebody was following him, but he wasn't in danger. They weren't threatening him. The officer attempted to get him to come back to the sheriff's office. They were driving around. They wouldn't tell the officer where they were. He attempted to get them to give a location to meet. They would not. Tried to get them to come back to the sheriff's office. They would not return to the sheriff's office. Could no longer make contact with them after that.
Less than an hour later, a witness saw the family arguing outside the home. A few minutes later, someone driving by saw the house on fire. The fire department responded and found 4 bodies inside. The sheriff says the family had lived in that home for about the last 2 years and they had never responded to or received a 911 call from there.
And I know you'll have some people that'll say, like, this is why we need to be stronger about gun laws and this and that. This has absolutely nothing to do with this man shouldn't have had a gun or anything like that. Because last time I checked, people out here starving and killing babies. People out here stabbing babies. People out here running people over with cars. Strangling people. Drowning people in bathtubs. Last time I checked, there's a multitude of ways. So if evil is going to happen, then evil people are just going to do evil things no matter what weapons they have at their disposal, even if it's their own 2 hands. So let's not blame this on inanimate weapons or inanimate tools like guns. Guns aren't the problem at all. And I hope that nobody uses this story to sit there and say that. Guns have never been the problem. People are the problem. Let's keep going.
All 4 victims are deceased from gunshot wounds. The fire was intentionally set. Mr. Meeks was deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And we found the gun that matches all of this actually still in Mr. Meeks' hand.
And I just thought about something, and thank you for bringing that up in the chat. These are young folks with a lot of kids. Maybe she was even pregnant. They could have been on baby number 3. We don't really know what their problem was. 1 kid is a handful. 2 kids are definitely a handful. Bills can be stressful. Keeping a job can be stressful. Keeping a relationship or keeping a marriage can be very stressful. This could have just simply stress and pressure bursting a pipe. We just don't know.
The sheriff of Davie County delivering more troubling and heartbreaking information that's breaking right off the top of the Fox 8 10 o'clock news. The announcement this evening came just a little more than 48 hours after firefighters found a family of 4 dead in a burning house in Coolamy. Just saw video of what is certainly among the last times this family was seen alive. Good evening and welcome. I'm Neil McNeil. Fox 8's Jordan Brown has been following this story since it broke Monday afternoon. She was at that news conference in Mocksville earlier this evening. Jordan, this is a really complicated case.
Yeah, Neil, there is a lot to unpack here, and it's eerie knowing the family walked right into this building less than 3 hours before they were all found dead in that home. Now, one thing we know for sure is that this was a murder-suicide. Police say all of the victims inside the home died of gunshot wounds, and that Ashad Ewing-Meeks was the one died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and he still had the gun in his hand when his body was found. The one thing we may never know is why. This surveillance video shows the moment 26-year-old Ashad Ewing-Meeks, 26-year-old Ashton Brown, and their 2 children, 4-year-old Bella and 8-month-old Bricks, walked into the Davie County Sheriff's Office on the afternoon of April 18th.
You guys have people working here today?
They all entered the sheriff's office lobby at 12:11 p.m. They walked in, no calls were made. They spoke with our receptionist. They were very vague about what they wanted. They just wanted to talk to an officer.
They left after a few minutes. 20 minutes after that, Ashton calls the sheriff's office. Still vague about what she needed, but said she had safety concerns.
Hi, I was calling to speak with a deputy or anything. You need to speak with a deputy? Yes, please. About a safety reason.
That call was disconnected. The officer called back. They talked for a few minutes, then the call dropped again. That cycle repeated for 30 minutes.
The rest of the calls were with Mr. Meeks talking. He wouldn't really advise what he wanted. He advised the officer that he thought somebody was following him, but he wasn't in danger. They weren't threatening him. The officer attempted to get him to come back to the sheriff's office. They were driving around. They wouldn't tell the officer where they were. He attempted to get them to give a location to meet. They would not.
The officer.
Y'all remember the dude that went out and murdered those 3 people? The guy Cola Beale, Kola, Cola Beale, Beale. Remember him? Who everybody said he was crazy and all of that stuff. One of the things that really stuck out of my mind and my memory, especially in this story, is when he said you need to call and check on your people. Y'all remember that? If you didn't, go back and watch that video. It's very telling. That one thing I hung on to, and he said you need to call and check on your people. A lot of us can relate to our family and friends, even our cousins, uncles, aunties. We don't call and check on them. We haven't texted them. Don't wish them happy birthday or anything like that. Just call. Hey, I'm just calling to check and see how you're doing today. How many of us forget to do that? You might think about it and you just don't do it. What if these group of people right here had family and friends that just didn't call them, didn't text on them, didn't check on them, didn't go see them? didn't have a grandmother or grandfather to just go pick up the kids for a little while? Y'all just get away from each other for a little bit? Did the family know that they were having issues on either side? And this is part of where I think, family could come into play as far as helping. I'm just going to assume that this was just a stressful situation and maybe he just felt hopeless, like, don't nobody care. Don't nobody love me. This is hopeless. Something as simple as a phone call to family and friends, and I'm going to tell you guys this. I think that was a calculated effort for them to walk into that police department to at least do that. I don't know many people that even get to that point. To walk in there and say, I need to speak to somebody. We're in a crisis. I need to speak to somebody. If that were me working there, I would have immediately tried to keep them there and get somebody out there. I would have talked to them myself to just try to help as much as you can. I mean, you can only do what you can do. If this was going to happen, it was going to happen. But it's just sad because I don't think none of us wanted this to happen like this. Just really sad.
Calls to Meeks stopped going through around 1 p.m. At 2 p.m., a neighbor saw Brown and Meeks arguing in the yard at their home on Junction Road. By 2:14, the house was on fire. A passerby notices smoke coming from the house.
They drive to the Coolamy Fire Department and report that the house is on fire.
Firefighters arrived in less than 5 minutes, not knowing there was a gruesome scene waiting inside the home. Definitely a sad situation here. Now, the fire and the murders are still under investigation. The sheriff told us that prior to Monday, there had never been a call to this home. A deputy had never responded to this home, and that no one in the home had ever dialed 911, which makes this tragedy all the more shocking.
Hours after walking into a local sheriff.
Let me turn this down just a little bit. I noticed this a little loud. My bad.
Hours after walking into a local sheriff's office with his partner and 2 children, authorities say a man in North Carolina killed them and set their home on fire before killing himself.
Since they moved in, which was approximately 2 years ago, we've never had a call at their house. We've never had a 911 call from their house. We've never had a deputy respond to their house.
The sheriff of Davie County says 26-year-old Ishad Ewing-Meeks shot and killed his partner, 26-year-old Ashton Brown, and their 2 children, 4-year-old Bella and 8-month-old Bricks. He says Ewing-Meeks was also found dead of a gunshot wound with the gun still in his hand. Authorities said Ewing-Meeks and his family turned up at the sheriff's office asking to speak with a deputy, but he was vague about what he wanted to discuss. Surveillance video shows them leaving 4 minutes later. About 20 minutes later, investigators say Brown called 911 saying she wanted to speak with a deputy. A deputy called her back 10 minutes later, and Brown said she had a safety concern.
What do you need to speak with an officer about? I'm just needing to speak with them about a safety reason.
Authorities say the call was disconnected. Just over an hour later, a passerby reported that the house where the family lived was on fire. And when firefighters put out the flames, they discovered the bodies. The sheriff says the investigation continues. A GoFundMe account has been set up seeking help paying for funeral expenses and has already exceeded its goal. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara Montalbano.
Look, guys, we can't blame this on police. We can't blame this on dropped phone calls. We cannot blame this on guns. You can maybe blame it on stress. You can blame it on their age. But you definitely have to keep the blame within the family and just say whatever the mother and father were going through, that's where it starts and that's where it ends. And whatever they were going through, maybe only family and friends know. But it doesn't seem like they were very good about vocalizing that. Because clearly, even when they went up there, I mean, they were just like, I need to speak with them about something and didn't really say. But it's just a really sad story. I am glad that their GoFundMe was able to reach its goal. So they were able to not only reach their goal, but exceed it. I actually do know, I think I have a screenshot of it. Let me see if I can show you. Even on the man side of the family, they even had a memorial service for him as well. But, you know, like I said, I mean, I guess you know, I guess he had family and loved ones, you know, you do what you do. But nonetheless, just really sad on paper. When you look at their pictures together, they just look like they could have been a beautiful family. You just don't know the demons lurking within somebody. That's why I say I think it's just really important to make sure before you have children, do as best as you can to vet people that you are dating and having children by and living with. It's really all you can do. Really sad situation to this entire family. A family of 4 gone. We are our own worst enemy. Young souls, rest in peace. Thank y'all so much for listening to the story. Leave your comments in the comment section and let me know what you think, okay? Thank you. Guys, have a blessed night, have a blessed day, have a blessed weekend. Love your family, love your kids, all right? We'll talk to you guys later, all right? Peace.
Check out this wonderful organization that I'm proud to be a part of. It's called Bags for Kids, BAGS4KIDS.org. And check out their website. They really help a lot of kids in foster care, giving them a permanent piece of luggage and also a lot of items that they might need so that they feel that they belong, which they do. So go to the website, bags4kids.org. So go for it. It's a great place and they're doing great work.
Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.